The Atacama Desert in South America receives less than 1 millimeter of rain per year. In some parts of it, no rain has fallen in recorded human history. Scientists once considered it the closest thing to Mars on Earth, so dry, so hostile, so completely without moisture that nothing should be able to survive there. They were wrong. Life found a way, as it always does. The animals in this video live in conditions that should make survival impossible. And they have not just survived. They have thrived. Welcome to Flora Fauna. 1. Atacama Frog. In a desert with almost no rain, a frog should not exist. The Atacama frog lives in small underground water seeps, pockets of moisture trapped deep beneath the surface, emerging only at night when temperatures drop and evaporation slows. It absorbs water directly through its skin, rather than drinking. Its entire life is built around finding the tiny fraction of moisture this desert reluctantly provides and extracting every possible drop from it. 2. Namib Desert Beetle. The Namib Desert of southern Africa receives almost no rainfall, but every morning fog rolls in from the Atlantic Ocean. The Namib Desert Beetle has evolved a back covered in microscopic bumps, hydrophilic tips that attract water droplets from the fog, and hydrophobic channels between them that direct those droplets straight to the beetle's mouth. It harvests drinking water directly from fog. Engineers have since copied this mechanism to design water collection surfaces for drought-affected regions. A beetle in a desert taught humans how to drink from fog. 3. Saharan Silver Ant. The Saharan Silver Ant forages during the hottest part of the day, when surface temperatures exceed 70 degrees Celsius and every other desert animal is buried underground. It does this deliberately. Its predators cannot survive the heat. For a brief window of 10 minutes around solar noon, it has the desert surface entirely to itself. Its silver hairs reflect sunlight and radiate heat simultaneously, keeping its body temperature just below the lethal threshold. It moves at nearly 3 feet per second, one of the fastest insects on Earth relative to its body size, minimizing its time on the burning surface. 10 minutes, maximum speed, then back underground. The Saharan silver ant turned the most dangerous moment of the desert day into its only safe window. 4. Thorny Devil. The Thorny Devil of the Australian outback drinks through its feet. Its entire body surface is covered in microscopic grooves that channel any moisture, dew, condensation, the faintest trace of ground humidity, toward its mouth through capillary action. It simply stands on damp sand in the early morning, and water travels up its legs and across its body to its mouth without any effort on its part. Its spines serve a double purpose, collecting moisture and making it extremely difficult to swallow for any predator brave enough to try. 5. Desert Tortoise. The desert tortoise of the American Mojave can survive a full year without drinking water. It stores water in its bladder, reabsorbing it slowly when no external moisture is available, and spends up to 95% of its life underground in burrows where temperature and humidity are stable. When rain does fall, which may happen only a few times per year, it drinks immediately and stores as much as possible. Its entire biology is organized around one principle: collect everything when it is available, waste nothing when it is not. 6. Sidewinder Rattlesnake. The Sidewinder moves across loose desert sand in a diagonal looping motion, throwing its body sideways in a series of S-shaped arcs that minimize contact with the burning surface. Only 2 points of its body touch the ground at any moment, reducing heat absorption and preventing sinking in loose sand simultaneously. It hunts at night, using heat-sensing pits between its eyes and nostrils, detecting the body heat of small mammals in complete darkness with enough precision to strike accurately. It requires no water beyond what it extracts from its prey. 7. Fennec Fox. The fennec fox's ears are the largest of any canid relative to its body size, reaching 6 inches in length on an animal barely the size of a house cat. Those ears are not just for hearing, they are radiators. Dense networks of blood vessels close to the skin surface release body heat into the night air, keeping the fennec fox cool without the need to pant or sweat, both of which would waste precious water. It obtains all the moisture it needs from the insects, lizards, and plant matter it eats. It has never needed to find a water source in its life. 8. Deathstalker Scorpion. The Deathstalker Scorpion is responsible for the majority of scorpion-related fatalities worldwide, its venom a cocktail of neurotoxins that causes severe pain, fever, convulsions, and in vulnerable individuals, death. It survives Saharan and Middle Eastern deserts by hunting entirely at night, hiding under rocks during the day, and going months without food or water, when prey is scarce. Its venom is also one of the most medically studied compounds in the world, components of it showing promise in treating brain tumors, diabetes, and autoimmune conditions. The most dangerous scorpion in the desert may also be one of medicine's most valuable resources. 9. Namaqua Chameleon. The Namaqua Chameleon of the Namib desert manages its body temperature through color. In the cold morning, it turns black, absorbing maximum solar radiation to warm up quickly. As midday heat becomes dangerous, it shifts to pale yellow-white, reflecting sunlight to prevent overheating. It drinks by licking condensation from rocks and uses the same color-shifting skin for hunting camouflage, temperature regulation, and communication, all from the same biological mechanism. One tool, 3 completely different applications. 10. Kangaroo Rat. The kangaroo rat of North American deserts never drinks water, not occasionally, not rarely, never in its entire life. It extracts all the moisture it needs through metabolic water, a byproduct of breaking down the dry seeds it eats, and conserves it through nasal passages that recapture moisture from exhaled breath before it leaves the body. Its kidneys produce urine so concentrated it is nearly solid. Its physiology is so precisely tuned to water conservation that placing one in a normal environment with access to drinking water produces no change in behavior. It simply does not drink because it never learned to need to. 11. Lappet-Faced Vulture. The Lappet-Faced Vulture soars above the Sahara and Arabian deserts on thermals, columns of rising hot air, for hours without a single wing beat, covering vast distances while expending almost no energy. It locates carcasses from altitude using eyesight estimated to be several times more acute than human vision. Its powerful beak can tear through hide that smaller scavengers cannot penetrate, giving it first access to carcasses and a resource no other desert animal can consistently exploit. In a landscape where food is rare and unpredictable, the lappet-faced vulture became the animal that eats whatever the desert produces, whenever and wherever it appears. 12. Desert rain frog. The desert rain frog of the Namib coastal desert spends most of its life buried in sand, absorbing moisture from the fog that rolls in from the Atlantic each morning through its permeable belly pressed against the damp sand below. It does not hop. Its legs are too short. It does not swim. It rarely encounters standing water. When threatened, it inflates itself into a ball and produces a call that has been described widely and accurately, as the most unexpectedly adorable sound any animal makes. In a harsh coastal desert, a round, barely mobile frog absorbs fog through its stomach and squeaks when frightened. Survival takes many forms. 13. Gila Monster. The Gila Monster of the American Southwest spends approximately 95% of its life underground. It emerges perhaps 15 times per year, eating just 3 to 4 large meals annually and storing the energy as fat in its thick tail. Its saliva contains venom, not for killing prey, which it swallows alive, but for defense against predators. It can survive over a year without eating. Its venom also contains a compound, Exendin-4, that became the basis for exenatide, a medication now widely used in the treatment of type 2 diabetes. Underground for 95% of its life, venomous, contributing to diabetes treatment. The Gila Monster is quietly extraordinary in almost every direction. 14. Camel Spider. The camel spider is not a spider. It is not a scorpion. It belongs to its own order, Solifigae, an ancient lineage that has been running across desert surfaces for over 300 million years. It can reach 6 inches in length. It runs at speeds up to 10 miles per hour, fast enough that it can keep pace with a walking human. Its jaws, chelicerae, are proportionally the largest of any arachnid, capable of cutting through the feathers of birds and the skin of small lizards. It does not use venom, it simply cuts. 300 million years in the desert, still running, still cutting, still here. 15. Sand grouse. The sand grouse solves one of the desert's hardest problems, delivering water to chicks that cannot travel, through one of nature's most remarkable biological adaptations. Male sand grouse fly up to 50 miles to reach a water source. They do not drink and return. They wade into the water and soak the specialized feathers on their breast, feathers structured to absorb and retain water like a sponge, holding up to 40 milliliters. They then fly 50 miles back to the nest where chicks drink directly from the wet feathers, 50 miles, carrying water in feathers, twice, every day, for weeks, until the chicks can fly themselves. 16. Elf owl. The elf owl is the smallest owl in the world, weighing barely an ounce, and it nests exclusively in the holes of giant saguaro cacti in the Sonoran Desert of Arizona and Mexico. It hunts at night, catching scorpions, crickets, and moths, and has been observed removing the stingers from scorpions before feeding them to its chicks. A 1-ounce bird, surgically disarming scorpions in the dark. The desert produces solutions that nothing in a normal environment would ever need to develop. 17. Thorny Devil Spider. When threatened on open desert sand, the golden wheel spider of the Namib does not run. It tucks its legs into its body and cartwheels down sand dunes at speeds of up to 44 turns per second, covering ground faster than it could ever run until it reaches the bottom and disappears into the sand. No other spider on Earth moves this way. It developed a completely unique form of locomotion specifically for the geometry of desert dunes. The desert does not offer standard solutions. The golden wheel spider did not ask for one. 18. Roadrunner. The Roadrunner does not rely on flight. It runs at speeds up to 20 miles per hour across the desert floor of the American Southwest, hunting rattlesnakes, scorpions, and lizards. It kills rattlesnakes by pinning them behind the head and beating them against rocks until they stop moving. It manages its body temperature by exposing a patch of dark skin on its back to early morning sun, absorbing solar radiation directly rather than burning metabolic energy to warm up. It requires no standing water, extracting moisture from prey and excreting excess salt through glands near its eyes rather than through water-expensive urination. Built for the desert, hunting things that can kill it, running everywhere it needs to go. 19. Desert locust. Alone, the desert locust is an unremarkable grasshopper, solitary, modest, occupying its small piece of Saharan scrubland without particular drama. Then the rains come. Crowding triggers a biochemical transformation. Serotonin levels surge. Behavior shifts from solitary to gregarious. Color changes from brown to vivid yellow and black. And the locust joins a swarm. A swarm can contain 80 million insects per square kilometre. It can consume the equivalent of food for 35,000 people in a single day. It travels up to 90 miles daily on wind currents. The same animal. Two completely different organisms depending on one environmental trigger. The desert locust is proof that identity in nature is sometimes entirely situational. 20. Tardigrade. We end not with a desert specialist but with the animal that survives everything, including deserts. The tardigrade is microscopic, barely 0.5 millimeter long, and lives in the thin film of water, on desert soil, moss, and sand grains. When that water disappears completely, the tardigrade enters cryptobiosis, shutting down all metabolic processes, replacing the water in its cells with a protective sugar, and becoming essentially indestructible. In this state, it survives temperatures from near absolute zero to 150 degrees Celsius. It survives the vacuum of space, radiation levels that would kill a human 1,000 times over, complete desiccation for decades, then water returns. The tardigrade rehydrates, resumes metabolic function, and continues walking across a grain of sand as if nothing happened. The driest desert on Earth is not a challenge for the tardigrade, it is simply Tuesday. Thank you for exploring with us today. This is Flora Fauna.